If you're looking for your weekly fix of automobile action, then this is the show for you. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. Let's kickstart the show with the Skoda Yeti. This is Skoda's first attempt at an off-roader and it will be hitting the Indian roads fairly soon. So we decided to send Bert to the mountains of Slovenia to check out this new Skoda beast.
It's the middle of summer and we are here in beautiful Ljubljana, Slovenia. As you can see, the hills behind me are devoid of snow. There's thick, dense, lush vegetation sprawled all across them. And that can only mean one thing. The Yeti has come down into town to play. But the Yeti I'm referring to is not the lovable furry creature you see on television. It's not the one that stands 8 feet tall, it's got big burly arms, white fur all across its body. No, the Yeti I'm referring to is this. It's Skoda's all-new 4x4 SUV. And guess what, folks? It's coming down to India pretty soon.
Wherever the Yeti goes, it will polarize opinion. It's a thought that quite literally sprang out of a box. It's a crossover, but unlike anything you would have ever seen before. One look and you can recognize Skoda's new design ethos. But then, there are those bug-eyed lamps, the pumped-up wheel arches, solid plastic cladding, aluminium effect skid plates, and that bread box-like silhouette.
The Yeti is a bit of a quirky design, isn't it? I mean, it's not what traditional SUVs look like, butch and muscular, rugged and handsome. No, it's actually quite cute, cuddly, very lovable. In fact, it looks a bit like the Roomster. But then that's because it's actually an extended platform of the Roomster. It's quite unlike any traditional SUV made from European or Japanese manufacturers. But there's one thing I'll say for it. An owner of the Yeti would certainly stand out in a crowd.
And that owner will probably be a housewife, actually a soccer mom doing a daily school run. And these interiors should appeal to her too. At just 4.2 meters in length, the Yeti is rather small for an SUV. But the high roof and acres of glass make the cabin look airy and feel quite spacious. While the dash, dials and steering wheel have been borrowed from the Superb, storage spaces and cubbyholes abound, and the seats can contort in more ways than a yoga master.
When the Yeti comes down to India, it will have a choice of both petrol and diesel engines. However, the car we are driving here in Slovenia is being powered by a 1.8-litre TSI petrol. There's also the choice of a 2-litre TDI diesel to drive here, but you'll read about that in the magazine. None of these engines would be coming down to India. What we would in all probability get is a 1.2-litre TSI petrol, a 1.4 and a 1.6. Now that would approximately put these cars in the price bracket of the Hyundai Tucson. So what you're looking at is about 13 lakh rupees for the Skoda Yeti. It's a fairly attractive price. But I sincerely hope Skoda prices it even cheaper, and that would make it very, very successful.
This 1.8 TSI has 190 PS of max power and enough low-down torque to rival most diesel engines. Performance is surprisingly adequate with a claimed 0 to 100 time of just 8.4 seconds and a top speed of 200 km an hour.
The Yeti uses a 6-speed manual gearbox, though the options we would see in India could possibly be a 5-speed gearbox along with a 5-speed or a 6-speed automatic DSG gearbox. Now this transfers power to all 4 wheels. Yes, the Yeti uses the 4x4 drivetrain. And a little later in the afternoon, you're going to see just how effective this 4x4 drivetrain is.
On the road, the modified LoRa platform works quite well, though the increased ride height does blunt its dynamic edge. The excellent steering feel and response remain, but otherwise, this is a car that likes to take it easy. Ride quality is good, and the Yeti can take a fair bit of punishment.
Slovenia has some beautiful scenery, there's some gorgeous landscapes, but then the roads here are not the best there are in Europe. They're bumpy, they're potholed and rutted, and that gives ample opportunity for me to evaluate just how good the ride quality is. And I'm quite frankly impressed with the ride quality. It's fairly good, it's not too stiff and harsh, not too soft and wallowy. and this kind of a suspension setup should do fairly well in India.
The Yeti uses an electro-hydraulically controlled clutch to transfer power to all four wheels, and under normal driving conditions, 96% of torque is sent to the front wheels, with up to 90% going to the rear wheels on demand. The system is also quick to react to changing road conditions, and you can drive straight from asphalt to dirt, almost as if you were quattro powered.
We're finally down to the last section of our drive for today. We've changed cars and we're going to head out on this small off-road course. As you can see, it's not a very intense course, but then you aren't ever going to be using a Yeti to cross the Alps or the Himalayas. You're not going cross country with it, are you? So for what this course offers, I think the Yeti should be pretty capable.
For what looks like a soft roader, the Yeti's ability in the dirt is seriously impressive, aided by its compact dimensions and short overhangs. An especially neat trick is the hill descent control, which works with the gear in neutral. Point the nose down, slot it into neutral, squeeze, and with your feet off all the pedals, she will roll down the hill with individual wheels braking to maintain a safe speed and ensuring no dramatics. Even with two wheels off the ground, it can make precise and controllable progress. And with the off-road mode engaged, the accelerator responds more sensitively and braking is remapped to allow more leeway.
So, as you've seen, it's not a very demanding course, but then the Yeti was pretty capable of taking all of that in its stride. Quite an easy job for it. So, what's my initial impression like? I think the Yeti is a very promising car. It's got a lot of scope when it comes down to India. All that will be left to see is just how good those engine options will be and just where is Skoda going to price this car. Very interesting times ahead for Skoda India, as well as for their consumers.
Well, that was a look at Skoda's new Yeti, and we promise to bring you a lot more action when that beast finally hits Indian roads.